Have you ever heard of people getting rich from gambling? You know, the kind of person who walks into a casino with a 20, slams it on black, and suddenly they're swimming in enough cash to buy a small island nation? It's easy to chalk it up to luck, right? But here's the thing, while luck can play a role in the short term, consistent winning in the world of gambling, well, that's usually not an accident. Today, we're diving headfirst into the thrilling, often shady, and always fascinating world of gambling to answer the age-old question, is it just blind luck, or is there a method to the madness? So buckle up, because we're about to expose the truth about gambling, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. Now let's start with the game that often blurs the lines between skill and chance poker. We've all seen the movies, the smoky rooms, the high-stakes bets, the steely-eyed players with their signature poker faces. It's enough to make anyone think they can win big with a little bit of luck and a knack for bluffing. But here's the cold, hard truth. Professional poker is about as much about luck as professional chess is about randomly moving pieces around a board. The best poker players are like human calculators, constantly analyzing probabilities, reading their opponent's body language, and employing strategies that would make a supercomputer sweat. They understand that over time, skill trumps luck, and they use their expertise to gain a statistical advantage over their opponents. These are the folks who treat poker like a business, studying the game relentlessly and approaching each hand with a calculated risk assessment that would impress Wall Street analysts. Take, for instance, the legendary Doyle Brunson, a man who made millions from poker. He didn't amass his fortune by getting lucky with a good hand. He did it by meticulously studying the game, mastering probabilities, and understanding the psychology of his opponents. He even wrote the book on it, literally, with his seminal work, Super System, which is practically the poker player's Bible. But here's the kicker. For every Doyle Brunson raking in millions, there are thousands of hopeful amateurs who mistake dumb luck for actual skill. They walk into casinos, fueled by bravado and a few too many cocktails, convinced that they can outsmart the pros. They fall prey to the sunk cost fallacy, throwing good money after bad, convinced that the next hand will be their saving grace. Spoiler alert, it usually isn't. So the next time you're tempted to try your luck at the poker table, remember this? While luck might win you a few hands, it's skill, strategy, and a whole lot of mental grit that separates the pros from the amateurs. Now let's move on to another area where a select few seem to defy the odds: sports betting. We all know those folks who seem to have an uncanny knack for picking winners. They're the ones who casually mention they've got a feeling about a particular game, and somehow, more often than not, their feeling translates into a wad of cash. But is it really just intuition, or is there something more at play? Well, in some cases, it's a bit like professional poker, a combination of skill, strategy, and a deep understanding of the game. These are the sharp bettors, the ones who approach sports betting with the same rigor and discipline as a Wall Street trader analyzing the stock market. They devour statistics, study team dynamics, factor in injuries, and even consider things like weather patterns and home field advantage. They understand that bookmakers, the entities that set the odds, are in the business of making money. And they use their knowledge to identify lines that are slightly off, giving them a statistical edge. It's not about picking the winner of every game. It's about finding value bets where the odds are in their favor, even if it's just by a small margin. One of the strategies these sharp bettors use is called arbitrage betting, or arbing. This involves exploiting discrepancies in odds offered by different bookmakers, placing bets on all possible outcomes of an event to guarantee a profit, regardless of the result. It sounds complicated, and it is, requiring lightning-fast calculations and a deep understanding of the betting markets. But here's the catch. Bookmakers are not stupid. They have sophisticated algorithms and teams of analysts monitoring their systems for any unusual betting patterns. If they spot someone consistently winning, especially using techniques like arbitrage, they'll often limit their betting activity or even close their accounts altogether. Chapter 3. Blackjack and the Allure of Card Counting. Now let's move on to a game that has captivated gamblers and mathematicians alike for decades: blackjack. Unlike slot machines or roulette, where the odds are stacked heavily in favor of the house, blackjack offers a glimmer of hope for those willing to learn the art of card counting. The premise of card counting is deceptively simple. Keep track of the cards that have been dealt to get an idea of what cards are left in the deck. By knowing the remaining cards, skilled card counters can adjust their bets and playing strategy to shift the odds ever so slightly in their favor. It's not about memorizing every card, it's about assigning point values to cards and keeping a running count to determine when the deck is rich in high cards, giving them an advantage over the dealer. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, not so fast. Card counting is a mentally demanding task that requires intense concentration and discipline. Imagine sitting at a blackjack table for hours on end, surrounded by distractions, trying to keep track of every card while maintaining a poker face that would make a statue jealous. And even if you master the art of card counting, casinos are not exactly thrilled about players who use their skills to gain an edge. They employ a variety of tactics to deter and detect card counters, from using multiple decks to shuffling more frequently to employing surveillance teams trained to spot suspicious betting patterns. In fact, casinos have been known to ban suspected card counters, sometimes even resorting to physically escorting them off the premises. But despite the risks, card counting continues to hold a certain allure for those who believe they can outsmart the system. Chapter 4. The Dark Side of Gambling, Cheaters and Manipulators. Now, let's delve into the shadowy underbelly of gambling, where the lines between cunning strategy and outright cheating become blurred. We're talking about the individuals who resort to illegal tactics, exploiting loopholes, and even resorting to outright theft in their pursuit of ill-gotten gains. These are the folks who give the gambling world a bad name. The cheats, the con artists, and the master manipulators who operate in the shadows, always looking for an opportunity to game the system. One of the most infamous examples is the case of Ron Harris, a former software engineer for the Nevada Gaming Control Board. Harris used his insider knowledge to rig slot machines, programming them to pay out massive jackpots on demand. He even recruited his friend, Reed Aaron, to help him pull off his scheme, providing him with a device that could predict when the rigged machines would hit. Together, they managed to steal hundreds of thousands of dollars from casinos across Las Vegas before their luck finally ran out. Harris's downfall came when Aaron was caught using the cheating device, leading authorities back to the mastermind behind the operation. It was a classic case of greed and hubris, leading to a spectacular fall from grace. Then there's the story of the MIT Blackjack team, a group of brilliant students who used card counting techniques to take down casinos in the 1980s and 90s. While their methods were technically legal at the time, they employed sophisticated strategies like team play, signaling systems, and disguise to avoid detection. Their exploits became the stuff of legend, inspiring the best-selling book Bringing Down the House, and the hit movie 21. But while these stories might seem glamorous on the surface, the reality of cheating and gambling is far from a victimless crime. Outrow gamble responsibly, or don't gamble at all. So, as we've seen, the world of gambling is a complex and often contradictory one. It's a world where skill and strategy can coexist with blind luck, and where the house always has an edge, even if it's just a slight one. It's a world that can be both exhilarating and devastating, offering the allure of quick riches alongside the very real risk of financial ruin. Remember, gambling is designed to be a form of entertainment, not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you choose to gamble, do so responsibly, set limits for yourself, and never bet more than you can afford to lose. And if you're not having fun, walk away. There are plenty of other ways to spend your time and money that don't involve risking it all on the turn of a card or the spin of a roulette wheel. But enough from me. I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a big win or a crushing loss? Share your gambling stories in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and as always, gamble responsibly.